Good evening, everybody. Miss Pace, thank you for stopping by. Been a long road. I want to go over some final numbers with you and get over some information you need to know. There are 6 candidates in the 3-year seat. I can pretty much tell you that there are about 300 people that are going to vote for the people that want a rec center. So here's what you need to do. Okay, based on those numbers, you can't really divide 300 votes among the 3 people running. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they do this. On the opposition to a rec center, you have Pace, Pitsey, and Wilson. Okay, people that are for a rec center and coming after me in court are Erickson, Martin, and not so much Smith. And I'll tell you why that later on. But you need to know that. But those gentlemen are all for a rec center. Okay, so there you go. You have the we want a rec center and we're backing Troy, and these people don't, and they're not backing Troy. So I want to go over that for a minute because one of the things that you're probably wondering is, well, if we vote for you, Ron, what are we going to get? You're going to get the elected official you should have had 14 years ago, but you didn't have it. See, I don't know anybody, okay? And I do things my way because I don't want to have to owe somebody if I make a decision. So when I make a decision, I don't think about just myself. I think about the people down the street, the families over there that lost their jobs, the ones that don't have enough to cover the bill, the ones that don't know where their next meal's coming from. And why is that? In the military, you only can march as fast as the slowest person. And there's a reason for that. Why is that? You know why? That's right, so they can keep up. Right now, we have this group over here that doesn't care if you keep up. I don't care about someone's accolades. You want to see accolades? I'll give you all my accolades from when I went to college, okay? All the honor rolls and all the test scores and all the things about me being a great student, okay? And I couldn't finish. I wish I did, but I couldn't. I owned a company for a lot of years, a lot longer than our president did. And you know what? Stuff happens. I had an accident, had to close, and there was a reason for that, okay? So, if you know anything about me, you know one thing. What you get is what you see, okay? I don't have to dress up in some fancy suit to come into a room and explain to you that what the district did was slander and libel for the last 3 years and then some, because they did it. They posted false information on a website, a false narrative, so you would believe it. If that wasn't bad enough, they sent out emails, they sent out blasts, they sent out newsletters, bad-mouthing me all over the district. Yeah, right, I found out about it. So why would they do that? Why would a district make a concerted effort to not only do that, but have the president go on and tell you that he's opposed to my agenda? Well, because he can't do it to anybody else because they don't have one. Okay, I'm talking about the 3-year side, okay? What I put forth was a plan that if it's implemented properly, saves you money, lowers your bill, legally, safely, and without compromising water quality. No more meetings of degrading people. That ends. Open records, we fixed that. Payables done in public so we know where the money's going and where we're spending it. That's a done deal. He's opposed to that. Let me explain to you what he's opposed to. He's opposed to transparency, openness, honesty, fairness, all of it. Well, Ron, you just don't like him. That's not really the issue if you think about it. The fact that me and him don't get along has to do with what he did. Think about this. Stinson attacked me after he endorsed me, along with the other 4 candidates. They've been doing nothing but attack me after they got on. Why was that? Well, they got on. Once they got on, what'd they start doing? Started with the mill levy, started with the rec center, started with all the other things. When I started standing up to Troy, what did he do? Tried to sue me, tried to restrain me. I mean, it's a fact. I don't have to make it up. And then one of the board members quit because they were going to file suit against me again. They were going to file suit. I'm like, why? Because they don't want me to have First Amendment rights. And I'm always going to defend my First Amendment rights. I'm sorry. I learned a little bit from civics class when I was younger. Your First Amendment rights are your rights, not somebody else's to take away. Mr. Stinson doesn't want me to have them. This is the document that he's ticked off about, and there's nothing I can do about it because, well, he tried his best and he lost. Now it's retaliation time, right? So let me tell you what's in store for the 4 Musketeers should they get elected, okay, is retaliation with a little retaliation with a side dose of retaliation. They're going to get their rec center. They already stole your money. How'd they do that? They padded the bills. I told you they did, and he had to admit it. He had to admit it. So I was right. I wasn't lying. Did he tell you I was right? No. And then he come out and he made some other statements about all these things that we can't do. And what did he do? He just basically jumped on and started campaigning, and he wasn't supposed to. Then he endorsed 3 people as the president of the board and threw the other 8 people under the bus. That's not right. Okay? Erickson, you know what? I know what he's here to do. He's a Troy supporter 100%, and he's very upset with me right now. Some of your friends had a talk with me at Walmart today, so I know what's going on. Don't worry, you don't need to know who they are. Mr. Martin, no love lost there. That's it. So, listen, without getting into the bad blood, well, you know, Pitsy and Wilson and the history, let me explain something to you. Okay? When I'm done explaining what I know, and I've done this with Jan called me and said, what are we going to do about Troy? Nothing. I'm just trying to run an election. And it wasn't until Troy Stinson started throwing me all over the place on social media and bad-mouthing me. And he's not even in the race. And he's doing it as the president. That's what makes it so bad. Is that really what you want? You want a board that's going to sit there and belittle and humiliate and defame people whenever they walk through the door? I don't think so. That's just not right, right? I mean, isn't high school over? Well, I thought it was. Well, look, I don't want to hear anymore that Mr. Stinson's now trying to say, well, I don't really need a rec center, or I don't need this, we don't need that. That's just not true. January 7th, January 21st, they had a meeting, East Rec Center. He said what he said. It's on the video. It's on my website. That's it. He said what he said, and there's no way out of it. If you just look at the videos on his site, you'll find out that he's not telling the truth. If that's not bad enough, they brought in a ringer as a DEO, and now Wayne Williams is under scrutiny. And well, I can't really get into what's going on because I was asked not to say it because there is an open situation, and I can't tell you any more than that. I'm sorry. Wish I could. It's just timing. All right. The rest of it is, I can tell you this, that Mr. Pitsy now understands that having a bad president is worse than anything we can have because he's abusing his authority, he's a bully, and he's a dictator. And today, well, I now can't post anything on Nextdoor again, period. So I told him to close my account. I don't need it anymore. If they want to play high school on Nextdoor, let them. Okay? Everything I've told you is true, factual, and accurate to the documents I have. Now, if they've got something else, then, well, you know why I don't have it. They won't give it to me. So, better meetings, more transparency. You need to trust the people that you elect. And right now, this board blew it. Okay? They lied to you. They padded the bills. They took your money. And now they want you to believe that I'm the bad guy. No. Then they wanted to take the onus off the fact they blew the four-way deal. It's about $8.5 million. They screwed up Bentgrass. There's no number for that yet. Technically speaking, it's 3 wells, whatever the cost is, plus a few other things. So where are we at on that? Here's where we're at. Gave away our water. Stinson signed a deal that basically gave away as much as 450 acre-feet of our water. It's in writing. You know how bad that is? If we actually give Bentgrass all that water, we will need to be buying our own, and we're going to have to pay for it. So who do you think's going to pay for that? Stinson? No. Anybody on the board now? No, because they'll be long gone by then. And that's why a lot of people don't understand. This needs to stop. And if you ever noticed, the 4 people that endorsed me in the last election endorsed me because they knew what I was talking about. But once they got elected, what'd they do? They threw me under the bus and turned their back on me. Why? Well, because they didn't care. They're all self-serving individuals with self-serving interest, and all they care about is themselves. So if someone comes on here and says they're for the community, question them. Everything I've done is to show the community what they're doing. Think about that. Core requests benefit you. My open records benefit you. The information I posted benefits you. That way you can make an informed decision. You don't have to like me to vote for me, okay? I don't want you to. That'd make the world boring. You know, I'd rather have you make jokes with me and say hi to me and shoot the shit with me than to be a pretentious stuck-up individual. I don't want someone like that hanging around with me. God, the world is too uptight as it is. You want to vote for a human being, a real person, a veteran, a father, a person that stood up and took it? You're looking at him. You vote for me, I'm telling you right now, it's the best vote you're ever going to make in your life because you won't regret it. I'm Mr. Pace. Don't forget to vote. Everybody have a good evening. Thanks.